President Trump. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and he admitted what he would rather have of the two is not the tariffs if it would simply just produce more jobs here. In other words, if both sides drop the tariffs because they've been tariffing us without us equally tariffing them back, that would be fine if they would drop the tariffs and just have more cars built here. He said he'd rather have the jobs here than the money, but he said the money's good too. Do
you have the sense that if Trump's plan works out, do you think that the effect is going to be, that there will be a return of jobs, or do you think that it's going to be something? Do you think it's going to end up actually kind of harpooning the economy?
Well, I'm not an economist, but we already have trillions of dollars of promised economic activity here in this country since Trump was elected as a result, in part, of the tariffs. Maybe not entirely. Some of it is simply because he got elected and they see a better environment. But there is some direct activity linked to the tariff announcements already, which is what he predicted. I don't see how that's a bad thing. Now, one thing I questioned him about, is there going to be a period of pain in the short term because there will be belt tightening that has to be done or an immediate impact before the job and impact is felt here, because it's going to take time to build factories and so on. He pushed back on that and said, no, he thinks that the economic benefit will be felt almost immediately because even as they're building the plants, that starts almost right away.
That was actually going to be a follow-up. Do you think that the economic activity that's going to be spurred, do you think that is going to take effect in time to protect the Republicans in the midterms?
Gosh, that's a great question. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
They're looking at Chinese company wants to sell in the U.S., so they're going to have to either raise their prices, which means that American car companies are going to be relatively cheaper, which means they're going to get money, and then that's going to enhance American companies. Then they'll hire more people, build more plants. That's going to happen over time. Initially, China is going to be like, well, if we stop shipping our cars over the U.S. because they're screwing us with tariffs, we lose $700 billion. If we just now charge more and we have to eat that cost in loss or in expenditure, we'll make $500 billion. So it's like,
also consider this. You're right, but also consider this. Let's say a car costs $20,000 in the United States and their margin is 10%, and China makes a car for $15,000, sells it here for $20,000, matching the market price of American-made cars. They get a massive margin where they're extracting profit by using cheap labor. Putting that tariff on it will strip their profit margins down.
I guess there's a concern that if the Chinese manufacturers raise their prices to keep up with tariffs, then the American companies will also raise their prices to keep up with, because they can.
Other way around.
What?
The foreign companies will not be able to compete with cheaper American products. So the idea with the 25% tariff is that the foreign product needs to cost more than the American product. And then that basically they're going to have to drop their prices to compete with us. So if it ends up costing them more to make it, they're not going to raise their prices. This is what the left keeps saying. They're just going to raise the prices and pass it to the consumer. No, it isn't. Take a look at our coffee company. So if we have Kona coffee made in Hawaii, and it's $10 a bag, and then someone imports from somewhere else for $8 a bag and makes a $2 profit, they still have to compete with our cost. So if their price goes up from the tariffs, they either stop and we sell all American, or they have to keep their prices down somehow to compete with the American costs that are already low.
And they won't stop. It's a huge, huge sector of their economy, I imagine. They won't stop. They have to continue to compete. Like economics, it's not about your emotions.
I got to be honest. I don't even care if the cars end up costing more money. You know why? Because this just means we're going to get our auto manufacturing base back in Indiana and Michigan and Ohio. And it means that, if remember the documentary from the 90s from Michael Moore about the shuttering of these auto plants?
Yep.
What happened to those people? Now they're sitting here screaming that Donald Trump's the bad guy when he's trying to bring back that middle-class life Americans used to enjoy. Now you've got Gen Z. They can't afford a place to live. They can't find any jobs. The jobs they can find pay dirt. Imagine this, Gen Z. Donald Trump does this. Next thing you know, an ad pops up. Auto manufacturing job paying $60,000 a year, entry level, or $40,000, $50,000 entry level. Now you have a chance to get these jobs. It's going to create competition in the American market. It's going to create opportunity for Americans to have these jobs. Trump's deportation, all of this combined is going to raise the standard of living for the American
I
people.
feel like it's also a time in history when it's a good time to revitalize your national industry because of the materials revolution we're going through with like subatomic, discoveries, graphene, obviously, hydrogen fuel. Like we could really, I mean, even a new car company and a new American car company that is like hydrogen, graphene based, if they could get the cost low, that's the opportunity that we have right now.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.